All right, thank you so much for staying with Daybreak. Let's kickstart this conversation. And we're talking about Valentines. Is Valentines overrated? But the bigger question is, should it be shared amongst the genders? Whose role is it to give gifts? Is it even important? What do really men want in a relationship and what do women want in a relationship? We're talking about a myriad of issues. That's the first question we asked you. And I already see some feedback is coming through, but let me introduce my guest real quick. Georgie, who is here, entrepreneur. And Anwar Murada, counseling psychologist, is also with us here in studio. Thank you so much for making time. Jerry Mudoni will be joining us from Seattle in a bit. Andrew Kibe, we are still looking for him as well. But for now, Elvis O. Pampula says it is overrated to many because of the pressure that society has put on it. A lot of expectations from our loved ones because of what they see others do is slavery. Every day should be a day of love, not necessarily on Valentine's. Eliakim says he's watching live from Toronto. I think people should be celebrating love for each other every day, not just when the calendar says we should. So yes, Valentine's is overrated. Mwamurada, I'll start with you. Is Valentine's overrated?
Yes, Valentine is overrated. Considering one fact that, number one, it's actually a borrowed culture. It's something we borrowed from the West. So it's also something that has really not gotten so much into the villages, but it's so much in the urban areas. And among our very young people, it's become such an event that could even break a relationship, that you didn't buy me a flower on Valentine's Day, and that ends the relationship. And as somebody has just said, love is not just a one-day event. It's only that it is celebrated worldwide on this particular day. But again, it's something that is supposed to be there every other day. But it's overrated. At a time like this, relationships break, people spoil their families, just because there is a very high expectation of spending. Reason now you were seeing, like I was seeing a quote on social media, that men are going for prayers. It is very important for them to go for prayers for COVID-19. And these prayers are needed urgently between Friday, today, and Monday. So men are requesting to take a day off. Reason why they are making such jokes is because some of them know the demands are going to be very high. Why? Because it is do I call it peer pressure or what happens? Because it's like to every other girl, there's now a new demand of what they expect. Yeah. And I also think love is about give and take. But you see, it is overrated because it is an assumption that it is only the women who are supposed to be treated. So the poor boy child has to make sure the girl is treated. But my understanding is anyone can treat the other one. Okay. But there is a feeling it has to be the boy child. And when it has to be the boy child, nahana, then you realize it can become a big problem, which would be neither here nor there. Okay. So to me, it is over and plus overrated. Okay.
George, what do you think?
I asked before, are we allowed to clap in the studio? But I wouldn't say like the act of Valentine is overrated. What has happened is that what we have created Valentine's, the expectations to be. Because the idea was show love. You try to give a Kenyan girl a single flower. E2. This is what you've brought. You know, it's the recipient has become the problem. Yeah. Because an act of love can be a hug, a handshake, a kiss, wishing you happy Valentine's, taking a walk with you, caring. But what we've turned love to be is actually where the real problem is. Because you cannot put pressure on me that I can only express love in a certain way. Yeah. And then since we got into the equality space, since now we are all equal, we all get the same education, same opportunities, same resources. If you love someone, you can express the idea of Valentine to them. And as she said, this is a imported idea. It's the idea of love. It's like Santa Claus. Santa Claus is not an African thing. It's not our thing. It's just the whole idea of love is what. But when you go and start putting pressure on especially young men, yeah, I really feel for them. The idea that a holiday set in the middle of the month, yeah, smack, January imeisha tu. Hapo that day that guy is supposed to magically come up with resources to give a gift that is not even going to grow you, the recipient, and you're putting pressure on him. What did he get for you this Valentine? Yeah. I think we've lost the plot. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
And does the language of love matter on both sides? Because there are those who say that if you give them one flower, and flower moja ni 20 bob, ungeongeza tu shilingi 5 ni kunywe soda. But then there are those who are thinking gifts, words of affirmation, quality time, and the acts of service. Does it matter how it is expressed?
It doesn't matter, because I think we need to come to an understanding that you cannot give what you don't have. So our people need to understand that you can only relate with a person at the level he lives. Like you could be having a guy who doesn't have a lot, but he loves you.
Yeah.
Just loves you, and he may not have money, may not have anything to take you out, may not have money to buy you that beautiful phones you are expecting, may not even have that flower. But that guy is creating time for you. And that moment of showing love, I don't know how these young people, Trevor, of your generation, are showing love.
Yeah.
Because I think our time, a guy had to get enough mysteries to convince.
Yeah.
But unajua sasa nyinyi hata mistari ni ya kugugu. So you Google mistari, you Google everything. So that expression of who you are, what your idea is like we are losing it.
Yeah.
So what maybe I would say is that people need to come to an understanding that I can only give you what I have. If I may not have that material, I may not have money, I may not have that time to get you to, I may not have that money to get you out. I may not even have that money to buy you that one flower. But I have enough words to make you understand that I love you, and I can create time for you, and I can, as Ikua says, even walk with you, take a walk with you, assure you of my love for you. That's also, if we are genuine enough, it's only that we still are yet to understand this generation you are coming from. Because your love has become so material that it has to be expressed by something.
This generation you're talking about categorizes their language of love. So there's gifts, there's words of affirmation, there's quality time, there's acts of service. If you don't apply any of those four, for example, if you're a gifts person, it's been declared in the relationship that the way you like to be loved is by giving gifts. I'm more of the words of affirmation kind of guy. Is that where the conflict comes in?
That is where the conflict is coming in. Because it's like the girls you're dealing with have come to a time of, it's not more of love, it's actually material. And this is why when you meet a girl and you want to fall in love with her, the first thing she would want to know is where you work. So you mention citizen, you're like, your social status is acceptable. So whether you are whatever in citizen, to me, that's where that's where it starts. So you ask yourself, so where is the genuine love? And this is now what is falling back now to this event. Because now it's like I had to choose somebody who can afford a Valentine. So it doesn't matter whether this guy loves me, but at least I am assured I'll get a good phone, I'll get something, I'll get gifts when it comes to Valentine. So, and you realize, as I'm saying, these millennials, again, you may even have know those words to even love. Because as I told you, everything about you is Googling. So you Google mistari, you Google everything, and at the end of the day, you become a Google people.
I'll send you a TikTok video. Let me bring in Njeri Mudhoni on this, and she's joining us all the way from Seattle in the US. Njeri, before you joined in, we were asking each other here, is Valentine's overrated? All right, let's fix that sound in just a bit. Njeri Mudhoni will be fixing your sound. There seems to be a bit of a challenge there. We'll get back to her in just a bit. But George, that is what we were talking about. This categorization of languages of love. I don't think in the generation of Anwar Murada there was even such a thing. Is it that we are trying to commercialize love? Because why do we have to categorize it? That you are a gifts person, words of affirmation, acts of service. If you're a gifts person, aren't you just basically materialistic?
I think that's like overcomplicating it. You know your customer. Your customer is your customer. You know them. I know my man. I know my woman. You know them. Let's not even. I think the whole thing is that this whole love thing has actually kind of left the building. When I look at a little bit of history, the inherent nature of a man, your DNA, the one thing that a man, even from the jungle, will want to do is spread his DNA. his seed. That's like your basic thing. And then nurture it in a way it can be as strong. So that's your DNA. Leave anything else. That's why even a male animal for a woman is to protect her brood. That's like to nurture. That's the first thing. And to nurture, I need one, a strong, so a woman will always be attracted to who can nurture, to who has shown he has the strength to take care of her brood. And that's like basic DNA. Now, of course, we became civilized and we have many other things and we have equal opportunities. Now, this thing has been translated, like, for me to judge your ability to nurture, I will make sure that you have to have excess resources. So we are all looking for the same few alphas, not your ability to work hard, not your decency, not how you're groomed, nothing. No one is looking at that. And then we are not even looking to nurture with you. We are looking, I don't know, kupitia tu, Nairobi purpose on sharing. So you're putting, this thing has become transactional. So when you come to matters of love, say Valentines, the whole discussion is not how much time or effort he spent, is what transaction happened that day. Was it an expensive dinner or was it just plain dinner? Was it a big watch? Was it whatever? And it's all to one side. Nothing has ever stopped a woman from making her boyfriend or her husband a Valentine and going out and making a special night. Like, let's just call a spade a spade. And unfortunately, we then mix this whole thing with men are not being romantic anymore. I don't see how buying you a phone is being romantic. I think taking time and interest in you and spending time. So I would encourage the women, gauge how much effort the man has put. I would encourage the men, you put effort. If it is not accepted, know your customer.
Know your customer.
Know your customer.
But Anna, we're simply being unfair to the girl child, because like what George is saying is very interesting. Back in the day, and I think even the generation even before yours, the ability of a man to provide for the family was based on absolute brute strength. People would simply look at you, are you built enough? In fact, people like us would never really be considered that much, because they wanted guys who could go out there and hunt and come back with meals for the family. And they were generally bigger. They were warriors. Now, we don't hunt anymore. The only way a lady would ensure that you can take care of the family is your resources. Are we simply being unfair if that is the first thing that they look at?
You see what happens, Trevor? We come from a culture where the man used to go hunting and the woman used to stay in the house and take care of the children. And life was balanced. But it reached a stage when all of us had to go out hunting and all of us went to look for money to make our ends meet. But again, we didn't come back to the table and agree. Now that both of us are now working, so at what point do we strike the balance? So we still are having a whole generation of women who still feels, in as much as I am working, my money is supposed to be my money, but your money is our money, because you're still the man of the house. But you see now with a place like Nairobi, where life is very expensive, you do not expect a man to foot all the bills in the house, and you are there, and all you can do is do your makeup, your hair, and everything. There's a place we need to strike the balance. Now, it is also a point where we now believe love is about give and take. I love him, he loves me. You love her, she loves you. So when it is genuine love, it will never be attached to anything. It will be an understanding of if it happens or it doesn't, we are still in love. But you see, this thing is pegged on, I am waiting. Right now, it is a wait and see. If you could look at it all over on social media, it's such a big event, like some men won't even run away. Because also the demand of the girl that you're talking about now, who is waiting for the Valentine, is even looking at how much you're supposed to earn. She's looking at Trevor, his salary, where he works, my expectation, not below. And you know, somebody like you who works for a media house, look at the attitude of Kenyans out there. It is like by the time you leave that table, munagawana, management ya media, munakata. That's the assumption. So any other girl, akikuona huko nje Trevor, they know this guy, anakuaga daybreak, this guy has a lot of money. So if she rates you on that, you may not be able to meet that demand. Today, Trevor, it's even very hard for you to walk into a supermarket. It's better this time ya barakoa. because you put it on and some cannot even tell who you are. But in normal life, I'm sure people like you are happy when it is Barakoa time, you wish it's there forever. Because when it is not, you will even find love in the supermarket. Not because they love you, but because of what they have. So as a woman, I'm also saying, let our women, and this is where we don't really agree with women, I know they will come fighting. Let's be fair to the boy child. Yeah. Because now I am working, he is working. Let's strike a balance of at what point do I need, but the women will always insist, but I'm the woman, I need to be showered with love. But love is not money. You can be showered with words of love and assurance that you are the person who matters in my life, in as much as I don't have money.
In fact, I have a proposal. Because the rest of the year, the men are just giving. See, Valentine's is the day they should receive. We should even start this trend here on Citizen. For one day, because it's not like if I buy you gifts on 14th, then on 15th, no, you know, it's just, and that's why we're saying, like, we can't, what she's saying is so right. Like, we both left the house now. We're both capable of making our own money. Why is it that when it comes to the relationship, happened your sasa, you go back to the original woman who used to wait in the house as the man left to go hunt? Like it's just double standard. And if you know, just to tetea the girl child a bit, because a lady asked me, are you saying then we go date broke men? I said, what is broke? You know, you look at your customer, so to say, and you know this one is hardworking. Ni vile tu amekosa opportunity, but he's really focused and he's going somewhere. And then I mean he has to go there. It's just that his heart and his hands are in the right place. But if you're only going to wait for the end product, you know there are only 2 Trevors in this town. So you're going to... And
the people with money who are in this town are women.
Yes.
Because if today Trevor, we go with him, hata hapa kwa county government, kuomba tenders, we go, he may be more qualified than I am. But the fact that I am a woman, Trevor, I will get it. Na atanyimwa. So it's about, we need to look... Yes, I will get it. At I miss, he would be more qualified.
I know.
The world has become so much pro-women that the boy child is getting very threatened. And I think it's a high time we come to real talk and talk it as it is. So when it comes to this Valentine, let our people understand it's a time of both of us feeling, even if you have nothing, I have that room. Lakini sahi ukiangalia wasichana wengi, they will not go out with the likes of Ikua. This is too young for them. Wako na wazee wenye pesa ni mingi. That is what they are looking for. So it tells you it's not about love and Valentine. It's about material.
But sometimes you also have to look at the other side. There are some people who are just simply not generous, just stingy people. Is it okay to live with a man who you know their capabilities, but they simply won't spoil you, so to speak?
There's a very thin line between that, because again, if okay, there are some people who are stingy by nature, by the background they come from, by the nature they were brought up in. But you see, when you're in love with somebody, you understand the kind of a person you're dealing with. You understand what you're dealing with. You never get that very perfect person. They have to have a weakness of a kind. And you see, even those stingy people, something would tell you they got a fixation of a kind in their life as they were growing up. And they have a story of how they became that mean. So the moment you I think, Trevor, we need to differentiate these issues and come to an understanding. Okay, you may not be that mean, because kuna wanaume wengine nao are so mean. Hata kwa nyumba anapima sukari, how much ameacha, so how much he's coming to get in the evening. You know, now that one becomes very difficult. But what do you call mean? The fact that he didn't buy you a flower on Valentine's Day is mean. The fact that he didn't buy you a phone on Valentine, yet he bought one over Christmas, is that what you are calling stingy? So I think our people need to look at love more beyond material. And beyond 14th. 14th is a day of affirmation. As much as we have Jamhuri Day. When we have Jamhuri Day, we are reminded of the day the country got independence. But it's not that we are getting independent on that day. The Christmas Day comes. We are remembrance of when Christ was born. But then he's not born on that day. So the same thing is that we have love all through. But this particular day, we show it in a very special way. A very special way could be to panda SGR. tuende Mombasa, na maybe we don't have anything ya kukaa huko. Tukule mandazi hapo na minazi hapo kwa barabara, we come back. But I'm still here to find that girl who will take that nonsense.
Yeah.
You know, in this generation, there's something called, girls are suffering called illusion of options.
Yeah.
So when you are in that age bracket, our dear friend there was saying, you look like there are very many men who are propositioning you, while the majority are not propositioning you. The majority just want a little fun with you and to move on. No one is reading in between that. So the one guy who's been serious with you, you're taking to him the same pressures of these two guys wamekuja raha.
Yeah.
You know, casuals. Compare casuals and a permanent employee. You're trying to put them, put pressure. I think we just need to wake up and say, okay, you know what, who is putting effort?
Yeah.
Show me some effort. Even in Valentines, just show me some effort. Yeah. And reward effort. Because the hardest thing about being a man, mwanaume ana asante. You know, you'll do everything, then you are told just that.
Yeah.
Then social media has also spoiled it, because whatever it is you do as a woman, if today evening you go to social media, you'll get depressed. Because people are putting out shows that are not even real. People who don't like each other are spending more money together, and you assume because you didn't get that. I mean, as we said, know your customer. If your customer is a stingy person,
yeah,
there's a reason he's your customer. Kuna kitu ingine anakupatianga hapo, which you are not telling us. You're complaining about this.
And people attract who they are. They even attract who they are.
You wouldn't have even be there to be in that stingy room. You would have left a long time ago. Kuna kitu ingine unapewa, you're not telling us. That's just the truth.
And you're saying that people attract who they are.
You attract who you are. How you attracted the stingy man? There was also something in you that attracted that
very
stingy.
stingy.
Yes. There's something that attracted.
But does age matter? Because it's something that George has brought up, which I find very interesting, saying that you can't compare permanent and casual. But in this manner, the casual means the guys were just in to have fun, and the people were in for the long run. Their behavior may be very different. But does that also culminate to age? Does age matter? Is there a bracket that you're thinking, hii ni casual tu achana nayo? Because what you're seeing now is that many people, and it's both men and women, prefer to deal with the casuals for shorter stints of time and maximize on the resources available through the casuals rather than stay with one young man who may be a potential permanent but is broke.
You see, Trevor, as I have told you, this thing has been commercialized.
Yeah.
And it is, it doesn't matter whether it breaks, but I am sure there are guys right now who've lost their girlfriends. Just because there's nothing you're showing that it's telling me you're doing something on Sunday. Yeah. And as I have always said, our culture has been so much affected by the culture from the West. As it's unfortunate we lost Njeri in Seattle, because we would have loved to listen from her, because I'm sure she was coming fighting.
Yeah.
Because to them, Valentine is such an event. It's theirs. It's such an event that has to make meaning.
Yeah.
And you see with them, the boy child who is supposed to treat you also knows that 14th is coming, and the boy child can decide, hata kama afanyangi kazi, he can decide to work from Monday to Friday this whole week and get that money. But again, Trevor, there is that boy here in Kenya who wants to do exactly that, want even a job, but it's not available. So resources are not there. So this is where we have arrived at age is just but a number.
Yeah.
So you will see a girl of 25 years dating a man of 70 years. And you tell me that is love.
Is it not?
And she will convince you I'm in love with that old man.
You don't think it is true?
It is not. Most of them, I don't know whether even most. It is not true. Because now it's something that it's associated with something material. Because at 25, how do you relate with a 70? Number one, you are a grandchild to the 70. So the relationship is about what you're getting from him. And why don't we ever see, well, those old poor men of 70, why don't we see them with the same girl, with the same girls? It is only the rich ones that can afford to maintain those girls that are in love. Do you want to tell me the 70-old poor old man cannot love? He also can love.
That's an
Lakini hana
interesting
kitu.
perspective. I've actually never seen any old man who's broke.
She's messing up a 70-year-old plant. She's just throwing it out of the window. It's all right.
Do you also agree, John, that there's no love in that age gap, if it is that wide?
I come from a different school of thought. I think it's possible. I think it has to take extreme connection. People from very different worlds connect. So it's possible. It's just not the norm what you see right now. It's like we've always had this. Even that we had our girls marrying Caucasians.
Yeah.
Right. The norm. It's possible. There's nothing that says a white man cannot love a black girl. But the norm, when you go to Diani, that is not the basis. Love was not the basis. We even found husbands were taking their wives to be married by this gentleman. So it's like, let's just be honest. The common thread was you never found the broke white men marrying the Kenyan girls.
Yeah.
The same way, you're not going to find the broke old men marrying the young girl. But is it possible? Yes. I mean, I have seen a very famous actor. I don't remember what is the one who married Catherine Zeta-Jones. I forget the name. They have a 30-40-year difference, and they have been married for over 20 years. It's like, as you can see,
so
it's possible. I'm not saying it's not possible, but I let's call a spade a spade. It's like saying in our country we vote for policies. We don't vote for policies.
We vote along the lines of tribe.
We vote very different.
Maybe in a very small percentage, I would say. Very small percentage of genuine people that would say that I fell in love. Because what are these two people negotiating in life? When you look at a girl of 25, what is she? What stage is she in life? If we look at psychology, what is this lady negotiating in life? Is intimacy versus isolation. That's where she is.
Yeah.
A 70-year-old guy is on integrity versus desperation. So how do you come and tell me that these people at some point come and agree on something?
What do you mean desperation?
The lights are almost going.
It is you are integrated or you're desperate. They say integration versus despair. So if you never made it in all these other stages, then you are either very integrated, and the very integrated are the one who would say they're still in love. Okay. But the desperate ones, when you want kitu, even in our African culture, look at the chiefs and the men who had money. They say the more cows you had, the more wives you married. So does it mean ule mwenye hana was never in love? So it was about, he still could also have loved, but because he didn't have the cows, or even Kikuyus, the goats, then he did not have to be in love. So I would support Ikua that there could be a percentage that marries out of love, that loves even for Valentine or anything at that age. But as I say, we have also come to an understanding even in Africa that now age is just in there. Wanasema not just a number. Miaka iko kwa ID.
I want to throw in something she has said that's very important. On the other side, as a man, you know, the chief's daughter required many cows for you to take her, right? So if you had one cow, stop going to disturb the chief's daughter. Like in Wanjiro over here, know your lane.
Cut your coat according to your size.
Unasumbukana na mtu who by birth takes 5 cows. Or by where she has set herself in her mind, she wants 5 cows. Unasumbukana na you say you have a quarter of jamaa here. You'll die of that desperation to talk about. Go look, there are many beautiful girls who take quarter kilos.
Cut your coat according to your size.
Yes, and I think Trevor now, what Ikua has said, that now should be our way of moving. Know your lane.
Know your lane.
You know you cannot afford them. You know you will not afford them.
All right, I have to take a quick break on Daybreak. When we come back, I see some of your feedback. We'll read some of them, and also we'll talk about now the future generation. There seems to be a disconnect between our generation and Anne's generation, but what are the values that we now should pass to the future generation? That in just a bit.